Hi. So I know I normally review movies, but today I am going to review a television pilot, which is based on a movie, so it technically counts. Though it only features two characters from that movie, and one of them is just a special guest star. Though I'm sure that once How I Met Your Mother is over, we will be seeing more of Kobe Smulders. I hope. That show is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, which stands for Strategic Headquarters at... No, wait a minute. Strategic... hold that thought. Strategic Homeland Intervention Enforcement and Logistics Division. Or as I learned growing up...
Welcome to Supreme Headquarters International Espionage Law Enforcement Division. We call it S.H.I.E.L.D.
So welcome to this special episode of Short and to the Point, where I review stuff in 5 minutes or less, or your money back. Now, despite being an avid comic book fan, I was a little mixed on this pilot episode. Our heroes are a little goofy, for lack of a better word, especially with some of their dialogue. Now, don't get me wrong, I didn't mind this kind of Joss Whedon-esque humor on shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer or Angel, but it's a little jarring to be hearing this kind of stuff coming out of the mouths of a bunch of specially trained government agents. Sure, Agent Coulson was a little bit of a goof during the Avengers, but in comparison to him, the rest of the agents were far more serious.
That man is playing Galaga. Thought we wouldn't notice, but we did. Shall we play, Doctor?
This way, sir.
Okay, I take that back. Ironically enough, Agent Coulson, who a few scenes before his apparent death in the Avengers was trying to get Captain America's autograph, is actually a bit more reserved in this series, despite the occasional one-liner, and I do like Clark Gregg as an actor. Brett Dalton plays Agent Grant Ward. His purpose of the episode is to give the other S.H.I.E.L.D. agents a reason to provide exposition, since it wouldn't make any sense for them to explain it to each other. He's a bit of a stock character, but given how we were led to believe that there are no secrets between the other S.H.I.E.L.D. agents during the Avengers, I think it might be interesting to see what an agent that was left out of the loop makes of all the events as they unfold. The same thing can be said for Chloe Bennet, who plays the character Skye. Now, she is just a civilian, but she knows far more than the average civilian, so I think it will be interesting to see what she makes of this brave new world as well. And I do like the humor that she brings to the table. Then there is also J. August Richards, who plays Michael. He is probably the most serious character on the show, but I can't really delve into why I liked him because that would be a spoiler. Though I did like this one particular exchange between him and Agent Coulson during the episode about what S.H.I.E.L.D. does. You see, S.H.I.E.L.D. functions as a cleanup crew, kind of like the Men in Black, only they don't have the luxury of being able to wipe out everyone's memories if things go wrong, and the Battle of New York only made things worse. It's a pretty interesting setup, and I think it can pave the way for some interesting stories for this season. Now, I did think the pilot moved a little slow at first, but things gradually built up and it kept me entertained. Thanks to some spot-on action sequences, it's Joss Whedon, what are you gonna expect? Along with some good twists that I didn't see coming. Also, despite what I said about the humor being a little jarring, it's at least good humor that we've come to expect from Joss Whedon. There are also some nice tie-ins to the Marvel Cinematic Universe that I think can be a treat for anybody that's been watching the film since Iron Man. Okay, you don't have to be that dedicated, but then again, this is a Joss Whedon show, so it's probably best that you are, since we all know how continuity happy that guy can get. I'm looking right at you, Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel, right at you. Don't take that as an insult or anything. I like both those shows, never mind. Overall, despite my criticisms, I do think the pilot episode is worth a look. It's got a good premise that gives it good staying power, particularly in comparison to the other dramas I've seen this fall. The others being The Blacklist, Hostages, and Sleepy Hollow. But those are other reviews for other days. And hey, the fact that we don't have to wait until the next Avengers movie to see the fallout of the first film I think is reason enough to watch the show. So I will be sticking around for the entirety of the season, and I hope you do too. This has been Short and to the Point, and I review stuff in 5 minutes or less, or your money back. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a comic book collection to go sort out, So until then, I'm Colton Hunt, and I will see you all later.